Growing up in a middle-class Chinese immigrant family, I was raised to think that debt was the greatest evil, and instead that I should work hard and save everything so I could pay for my own house. All cash. Because that's what my parents did. But then they sent me to school where I took a few finance classes, which, by the way, they paid for. All cash. Thank you. And while I learned that debt can be evil if you're reckless with it, it's extremely powerful when used correctly. But don't get me wrong, my parents still raised me to be cheap as f***. My name is Derek, partner at the Manhattan real estate development firm YD Development, and today we're going to discuss how with great power comes great responsibility. A good way to think about debt correctly is to realize that you're not borrowing money, you're renting it. You borrow things from the library or your friends, and if you're not a douche, you give it back. But when you rent something, there's almost always a contract that goes with it, and pretty severe consequences if you don't give it back. It's the consequences that make debt scary, like credit card debt and payday loans. But debt can help you perform financial magic in real estate if you use it responsibly. Let's do an example. Suppose there's a $400,000 property on the market generating a 6% cap rate. But there's also a $985,000 property also generating a 6% cap rate on the market too, which you can buy if you take out a loan for $600,000 with $15,000 in financing costs. Let's keep it simple and ignore all other closing costs. If you buy the $400,000 property, your NOI, 6% of $400,000, is $24,000 a year. You're living the dream with your passive income. If you buy the $985,000 property, first you have to pay $15,000 in fees to the bank to originate the loan. But the property generates an NOI of $59,100 a year. Let's say you got an interest-only loan at a 4% interest rate. Your debt service, or what we're calling the rental cost of that money you borrowed, is $24,000 a year. Time out. That's as much as the NOI the all-cash property generates. Why should we pay the lender that much money? Is what my parents would say. But net profit after interest is now $35,100. You're making $11,100 more per year, which is a full 3% higher cash-on-cash return. And that, my Nooblets, is the power of debt.
But wait, there's more!
So far, this example only shows what happens in year 1. Let's say the NOI grows at 3% a year for both properties, and your interest rate is fixed for 5 years. By the end of year 5, your NOI in the all-cash property is making you a pretty sweet $27,000, and you're now earning 6.7% annually on your original investment. But the property with debt should be making you over $42,000 per year. For you numbers geeks, $42,000 is larger than $27,000.
But wait, there's more!
Let's say you're getting sick of collecting all this passive income, and you want out. Assume the market is still okay with paying a 6 cap on both properties. The all-cash property will sell for $450,000. Divide your last year's NOI of $27,000 by 6%. But the property with debt would sell for $1,108,000. After you pay back the principal on the loan of $600,000, you're left with $508,000. You math nerds must be way ahead of me because you probably realize that $508,000 is a lot more than $450,000.
But wait, there's more!
Interest payments also provide a tax shelter, because you can deduct the interest payments against your income. That means you get even more post-tax income. Why the F would you not use debt? Is something I ask my parents all the time. I said, with great power comes great responsibility. Debt is best used to purchase appreciable assets that hopefully generate a greater NOI than the debt service. In the example, we make more money on the property with debt because we get to keep the spread between the interest rate and the NOI. And that spread got bigger as the NOI went up over time and the interest rate stayed the same. If you're paying rent on someone else's money to buy liabilities, or things that don't make money or appreciate, you're going to end up in a hole, financially and literally. Also, not all deals work out as nicely as in my example, especially since I decided to ignore some factors and keep other factors constant over the 5 years. Debt always comes with some level of risk that you could get foreclosed on, because debt is an obligation, and sometimes you'll have to pledge a guarantee that you'll pay it back if things go sour. The banks usually price the risk into the rate of the loan, so the higher rate you're paying, the riskier the financial magic you're trying to pull off.
But wait, there's more!
Now that I've given you the disclaimer, there's tons of financial magic tricks you can pull to make the example I gave seem like amateur hour. But there's so much more that I need to cover in the next video about the capital stack. So get ready to graduate to the next level, Nooblets, and let's learn how to structure deals with debt and outside equity. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. See you next time.